Good evening, everybody. If you haven't taken your seats yet, please do take your seat now. We will begin. Good evening and welcome to Metropolis and Blockchain Centre's Block Engine Demo Day. I am John Quidham and I work at the Blockchain Centre. I'd like to begin the evening with acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we are gathered on, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present and future. It's going to be an exciting night that we have lined up for you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for supporting the Blockchain Centre, the Block Engine program, and the wider blockchain ecosystem. It's great to see so many familiar faces here from our community events. And for those that are new, I welcome you, and we hope that you stay around in the blockchain ecosystem and be part of the community. I'd also like to welcome some special guests. Firstly, our sponsors, for without you, we couldn't be at this milestone point right now. I'd like to thank the special guests from industry and government that are here. And a special thank you to the family and friends of the Incubator program startups here. It's your support and your cheerleader attitude towards them that has helped them through the past 10 weeks. Just as a hand raise, who's here to support one of the blockchain startups? As a family and a friend. Yell out now. There we go. Just some housekeeping before we do begin. If you are active on social media, please follow our accounts up there, and please use the hashtag BCMelb and Block Engine. I'd also like to announce that tonight we have launched the Blockchain Centre Community Members Program. So as a member, you will have discounts to some of our events, have pre-sale tickets, VIP tickets, and discounted our services, and plus some of our partner services as well. It's only $50, and if you do sign up today, around the corner over there, you will get a free Blockchain Centre t-shirt. So you've seen them around, you'll get one of those, so please do sign up. We'll start the pitching shortly, and after that, we'll have deliberation from the judges. While that's happening, we are going to have an official ceremony of an official signing of our newest global partner with CoinTree. And after that, the night doesn't finish there. We do have an after party. It's at the Blockchain Centre, and I will put details there later on. But if you haven't registered, please do come along. We'll be delighted to have you there. As I said, it's such an exciting evening for the 10 innovative and talented teams that we have. Although we do have some awards that we are presenting later on, each team, and I can see you around the room now, are champions in their own way already. They've demonstrated over the 10 weeks that they can succeed. They've been so committed, dedicated, and passionate about their products. This may be their final evaluation for this program, but it's just another milestone in their journey towards commercial success. As the teams grow and their businesses grow, we at the Blockchain Centre will still be here to support them. We'll continually connect them through our expanding global ecosystem. This year, we've opened up 3 centres internationally. We've got one in Shanghai, one in Suzhou, and Lithuanian Vilnius. And we are looking to open up 20 other centres around the world this year, just to create that larger ecosystem. So if you are interested, and you do know people that are interested, please come to us and talk to us about it. The Blockchain Centre was created to be a knowledge hub for the blockchain technology community. It's to assist in the acceleration of education and adoption of blockchain technology. We run under 3 pillars: education, co-working, and community. We are the only Australian community and knowledge hub that has blockchain technology in our DNA, and we are very proud to be pioneers in this field. You'll hear more about the centre shortly, but now let me introduce you to some of the key members of our team that's here tonight. And if you are here, please stand up and wave. It's for you at the after party if you do want to talk, and throughout the centre here as well. Firstly, I'd like to introduce our captain and evangelist, CEO and Global Expansions Director, Martin Davidson. Next, we've got our communications superstar, our commercial and marketing partnerships, Tyrone Blody. We've got our superb and star of social media and community, Renee Yang. We've got our technology superstar, Luke Ritchie. Where is he? Luke? He's out there by the door, but just give him a clap anyway. We've got our business advisor, Jason Lee. Where are you, Jason? There he is at the back over there. I don't know if he's here, but we also have our education consultant, David O. Are you here this evening? I'll give him a clap. Another blockchain evangelist, teacher and mentor throughout the Block Engine program, Anouk Pinchetti. We've got our block mama. Now she's the one that keeps us in check. Operating Officer, Karen Cohen. And then there's me. I'm John, as I said. I'm the events manager and incubation support. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, wait a minute. There is another person that I have forgotten throughout this whole thing. She is the co-founder of Block Engine, the Incubator program. She's created an amazing program that's delivered on nurturing, educating, and supporting the startups towards success. The energy and enthusiasm that she has brought to the program is exceptional, and she's been an inspirational to us all at the centre. She will soon depart our shores, sadly, but she will leave us with a strong legacy. Her successor will be very fortunate in inheriting a program rich in innovation and entrepreneurship, and will make such an impact here and abroad. Please join me in welcoming co-founder of Blockchain and Block Engine Director, co-founder of Block Engine and Block Engine Director, Tiasha Yarts.
Oh, wow. Thank you, John. Also, John will take over all the next Block Engines, so he's a good person to talk after. It's my first this kind of big speech, so my heart is like... However, I have written speech, so I came here to Australia actually exactly a year ago with plans to have a career break, travel around the country and work in cafes. But of course, some plans never go as expected. So I ended up working with startups again, something that I love most. In December last year, I was asked to set up an incubator program at the Blockchain Center dedicated to startups working on blockchain technologies. Sincerely, we didn't know what to expect. Even though some startups' requirements stay the same, needs of blockchain startups are very different to other startups. So we set this program as a beta version and hope to receive some solid interest. We received almost 40 strong applications. We selected 10 startups by considering the team and their blockchain solutions. In February, we started the 10-week program. Each week, startups received one workshop on business topic and one on blockchain topic. To accelerate their development, each startup was able to select 20 mentors among our faculty of over 60 experts to meet them and discuss their projects. At this point, I would like to thank all of the mentors and coaches that supported the program, gave their time and shared knowledge. I would especially like to thank Justine Italianer, Anouk Pinchetti, and Toby Gardner for their commitment, dedication, and expertise. I'm happy to see this event today. It's happening. It has been 10 weeks of hard work of our team and very hard work of startups. I'm so proud to have been part of this journey and can't wait to see their final pitches. And we joked yesterday that I hope so soon they're going to call me if I want to buy some tokens from them. So I'm so happy to see the friendship and fellowship that has developed between them. They have supported each other through this program and are each other cheerleaders. So, and thank you also to our sponsors of Block Engine, of course, Blockchain Global, Soarcoin, NAM Foundation, Multilateral, and Digital X, Without your support, we couldn't have delivered such an amazing program. And big thanks to the Blockchain Center team, Martin, John, Tyrone, Renee, Karen especially. Thank you for your support, really, especially in the last few weeks. So my year will be over tomorrow since I'm flying back to Europe. I couldn't imagine finishing this year any better. So I really hope so. You're gonna enjoy this night tonight, and thank you.
Please join me in welcoming to the stage. All right, thank you for the welcome. To the stage, our Block Mama, Operations Manager, Karen Cohen.
Thanks, John. My name's Karen, and I'm the Operations Manager for the Blockchain Center, aka Block Mama. Around 8 months ago, Peter Rubenstein approached me at a party and asked if I was interested in a job. He gave me his card. I took it home to my husband, and no joke, I asked him, honey, what the is a blockchain? And he started to tell me, and my eyes glazed over, and I said, you know what? I'll just give it a go. And so I joined the Blockchain Center team, and I couldn't believe how exciting it was to work here. Every day I learn something new. I meet amazing people who are passionate about the space, and the meetups are so inclusive, and everyone is learning, not just me. I seriously thought that blockchain was Bitcoin for the first 2 months, and that was okay, because Bitcoin was going up a lot. As I began to understand the industry and the opportunities that blockchain could bring, I started to get even more excited. I felt like I was standing on Wall Street in the 1980s, and I didn't sleep for the first 3 months. So when Tiasha came to me and said she wanted a 6-month project, a blockchain incubator came to mind. We already had a co-working space dedicated to startups, a very active community of over 3,000 people, a great education program, but the missing link was a formal way of incubating new businesses and helping them onto the blockchain. Tiasha took up the challenge with enthusiasm. She locked herself away for 2 weeks with her headphones and a laptop. She invited people to tea with tea, and she asked them for their ideas. And she presented her plan to Martin and I, and we said, it looks great, go for it. But Tiasha asked, how will we pay for this? She said, I don't know, we'll figure it out. At this point, I'd like to thank our sponsors again. Blockchain Global, Digital X, Introverse, Sawcoin and NEM for helping fund our Block Engine project. We couldn't have done it without you, seriously. Always the warrior, I asked, but Tiasha, what if no one applies for the incubation project? Don't worry, Karen, they will come. Around that time, I woke up one day and I couldn't move half my face. I couldn't blink, a virus apparently called Bell's palsy. I did say I didn't sleep for 3 months. And so it was with a patch on one eye that I read 35 applications for our Block Engine program. 10 amazing applications came to the top, and all the judges agreed they were 10 great ideas with great teams who were dedicated to learning about blockchain technology and business. Problem was, we only had planned to run it for 5. But Tiasha, where will I put 10 teams? They don't fit in our Digital X room. And so she schlepped up and down Southbank looking for a room, which we finally found next door. And when it came to demo day, Tiasha said, Karen, I need a really, really big room. It's going to be huge. And I asked, but Tiasha, what if no one comes? But you all came. Yay. And you're here to hear about our 10 Block Engine startups, so thank you. Our teams have been exposed to 2 workshops per week. They've learnt about Ethereum, NEM, EOS, and other technologies. They've learnt how to write a white paper and how to pitch their ideas, which we will all hear tonight. They also have had access to over 50 mentors, all who've given their time freely and have invested in the industry that they believe in. What I've loved listening to in the workshops has been the sharing, not just about what to do, but especially what not to do. Our mentors openly shared their horror stories and their mistakes, and as we learn to navigate this industry, there's so much to be learnt from our mistakes. I want to wish our 10 teams the best of success. We have nurtured you, and we couldn't be prouder of your achievements. We can't wait to launch you onto the blockchain and out into the global business world. You have reminded me that a small idea can become a huge success, and with the right support, we hope that Block Engine has provided you with this. Before we hear from our 10 startups, I'd like to thank the Blockchain Centre team and thank the presenters and the mentors. Without them, this program would not be possible. And the biggest thank you to Tiasha, who made this all happen, from the design of the program to the absolute belief that it will be a success, to the stomping of your feet and waving of your hands when you didn't get your way, to the daily organisation of every single session. You've continued to exceed our expectations. We will all miss you when this program is over and wish you every success in your next adventure.
AB, Chasha, please come up.
A little bit of
Please join us in thanking Chasha for all her hard work and perseverance.
Thank you. And everyone, welcome in Europe.
She'll be in Berlin, so if anybody's traveling there, please do. All right, let's get the pitching started. Are you excited about the pitches? Excellent. On the count of three, I want you to shout out who your team you're going for right now, especially those supporters. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, all right. So what's going to happen is I'm going to introduce them one by one. We will have a 5-minute pitch for them, and then we will have a Q&A. So for those who are pitching, you will have a ding at 4 minutes, and then you'll have a double ding at 5. And at that time, please wrap it up. I'm going to cut, either you wrap it up or I'm going to tackle you on stage. So whatever's easiest. So let me bring up the first one. Oh, just before that, throughout this, we are going to award three teams a prize. And they are best team, not team overall, but best form team and resources and human resources that they have. Best business solution and best use of blockchain technology. So the first one, a team that is going to shake up the accounting landscape. Please come up. AIM.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Okay, the time has started. Okay, so we are AEM, Accounting Enterprise Middleware. My name is Jacob. I'm the founder. I've started the whole thing. And there's my team. We're actually growing as I speak. There's more of us. I'll just get on with it. So what do? We've designed this software for everyone. Basically, we've listened to the mentors, we listened to the clients, we listened to the taxation office. We've done a system, we've got a working prototype that automates everything. So it's not just for a single cryptocurrency. It can easily adapt to more. And it assists you with doing your taxes, but also enables you to run an accounting system. And something you can't do with other packages out there, MyOp, Zero, and so on. We can actually connect to them, but we are our own system. Just the technical team. So myself, as mentioned, the CFO. We have Matthew as well. There's also Russell, and we have Frank. So Matthew's in charge of the system architecture. Russell's our software engineer. And Frank, as he said, he hasn't done all that much yet, but he will, just because we're going to expand this. So that's why we needed Frank, because it's, well, you'll see, we started with NEM, but we're going beyond. So what's the plan? Our network is through the Blockchain Centre, Blockchain Australia. That's how we've actually been establishing who wants to be our clients, who's interested in this product. So exchanges, funds, any merchants, as previously mentioned, and then anyone doing ICOs, being a startup, anyone actually transacting with cryptocurrencies, they have to start somewhere, and that's who we're talking to. And once this succeeds, we're going to go global. This is rather complicated, I know. Basically, I am going to focus on the taxation part, just because I think everyone's very interested. how you even do this. So our focus has been on handling of tax, on focusing on legislation, and probably first and foremost, we're making sure we're being tax office compliant. And we enable you to do your reporting for your own purposes, as well as for the taxation office. So what happens is, it's not like you're just releasing all the information out there. You're still keeping it. And no longer you just have to give it to an accountant who specializes in cryptocurrencies. You can actually do it by yourself. So here's the advantage. You can actually have a look at it, go back, run the system, and then see what you want to report, what is accurate, before you pass it on. Our plan, proof of concept, as mentioned, that's already existing. So we've actually integrated with the Nano Wallet. We're able to send the information, even though I'm saying zero out there, we can actually send that information to all other systems. So we're enabling you to export CSV files. And then from there, we're now building the MVP, and we're going to start adding more cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, probably the obvious choices, and going beyond. At a later stage, we're actually really keen to do our own blockchain, and that's why we're talking to investors, because we'd like to, first we're showing off what we can do. Once you're going to trust our capabilities, we're going to ask you to help us, because that's where we're going to go. We've been talking to blockchains such as EOS, and trying to actually see if we can make this feasible. The way the system works, we have layers. I guess that's probably the simplest diagram you can look at. We have a cryptocurrency layer, on top of that a middleware layer, and then over the top you've got your accounting system. So nowadays, let's say you're running Zero, MyOp, so on. As we build this, there's going to be our own bigger system on the side, and you're going to have the choice. Ultimately, we want to take you there. We want you to stay with AIM. And all these linkages from the bottom layer, the transactions through the middleware, up to the taxation office, you're able to basically capture everything, report, and send it across or keep it. I mean, it's your own system. You don't have to give it to anyone anymore. And last but not least, that's the system layout. I'll just be very brief with it. But we're connecting to wallets, sending the information through to accounting software, and in the end, you're able to then, like I said, report it. So that's your map, and ideally, if exchanges will cooperate with us, we could probably build a bigger and better system. And that's that. I've got 15 seconds to go. So look, thank you for listening. I'm actually really excited because the guys done a great job. But actually, the prototype we have is so transparent and like for anyone willing to use it. So just come to us if you're interested. We're happy to talk. We're happy to tell you about everything. And yeah, just hope you're as excited as I am. Thank you. Yeah. Yep, questions?
I've got one. Oh, hi there. Good pitch.
Hi, thank you.
You've got in your summary of your pitch here that you want to make the utilisation of crypto mainstream across all businesses in Australia. My question is, who's your primary target market?
Look, primarily we're adapting this to anyone using cryptocurrencies initially. What we said there is the long-term plan. So we realize this is probably going to happen in hopefully next couple of years, where we can actually achieve that. But by building a software for anyone like exchanges and merchants that are using this, we're going to provide that foundation. And then this is going to actually achieve the ultimate goal. And business is going to start coming to us and saying, hey, crypto is actually great because this system, it just flows. It's easy. It's instant. So that's right. That's the strategy we have.
Thank you for the presentation. That was great.
Thank you.
Do you see this application integrating into other accounting packages so that I can go into Zero, MyOb and use the functionality, or do I need to go into a new accounting software?
Yeah, I'll hand it over to Matthew.
So we're starting off as just a small plug-in package that lets you get data to and from different accounting packages, such as Zero, MyOb, as Jacob was saying. The long-term vision is to have just one complete accounting software package that anyone can use and have a single pane of glass for all of that information without having to leave the platform.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for the presentation,
Thank
Jacob.
you.
So I just have a quick question. So obviously, currently, there's no such as correct treatment of cryptocurrency in terms of regulations. So are we going to design a system that which is easily adapted for example, regulation changes and stuff? So how, from a technical perspective, is the system, fluid enough to adapt any changes?
Yes, well, that's exactly the goal of the system. So, I mean, we constantly communicating with ATO. And actually, one of the strategies is we're going to develop it further with what the ATO would come, hopefully, directly to us as a request to develop this further. So we've already taken some of the approaches. So, for example, just to touch on the prototype we have, we're able to pick up a wallet, take all of its history, and convert all the transactions instantly into fiat for any given day, going 3 years back. And this is one of the first requests that came from the ATO. So we're already doing that, and that we wanted to prove we're actually following the guidelines, and that's the approach we're going to take. Exactly, trying to adapt whenever this changes. We will be able to tune the system.
Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Kai. One quick question. What's your revenue model? So will it be a subscription-based, upfront?
Transaction?
Yeah, well, the initial one is transacting, exporting, and that's probably primarily it. Really just as any other software, we're looking at a very similar model. But we probably don't want to lock people into being in a fixed type of subscription. We're trying to be a little bit more attractive, but that's still, I guess, to discuss. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, thank you.
What is your main reason for doing this?
I want to make it as easy to do your accounting on crypto as it is for dollars. That was always the idea, and just actually make transacting seamless, yeah, and accounting.
Thank you for that. Just a kind of an odd question. Why the tax office? Because lots of people have things like Bitcoin because they want privacy and security. Not necessarily because they want to buy drugs or evade taxes, but just because they want privacy and security. So yeah. Why the tax office?
Well, when the tax office is going to come to you and ask you to pull up a history of, last 3 years of transactions, you're able to do that. But what we're trying to do is actually not say, hey, I'm handing everything over. Basically, we're actually trying to achieve something where we could get a product ruling. We're going to get the process approved that actually we provided the framework for already. And you're still having the privacy. So I think that's when people often struggle to grasp the concept. So once you understand blockchain, such as Bitcoin, I mean, you're going to see that if someone knows what your wallet is, they can see all your transactions anyway. So yet the data, we put it on the side. You keep it. It's not like you're releasing it. So that's what we're trying to do.
Thank you, Jacob and team. The next startup is a startup that is building and promoting better health for all. So please join me in welcoming Better Me.
We are Better Me, a company dedicating to putting healthcare on the front foot. Healthcare presents one of the world's greatest economic and emotional challenges. Chronic disease is at the centre of all of this. It is a leading factor in 8 out of 10 deaths, represents a huge amount of public and private spending, but beyond that has much larger economic impacts about people who can't join the workforce because they're either suffering or caring for people with these diseases. 31% of this burden is avoidable by changing what we call modifiable behaviours. Things like smoking, drinking, exercise, reducing your stress. But beyond that, it's actually our other behaviours we can influence that are just as simple as how you interact with the healthcare ecosystem. It's as simple as seeing a doctor regularly, or showing up to an appointment, or following the instructions that your doctor has given you. We see the greatest opportunity in healthcare to engage consumers wherever they enter the health system and provide a platform that allows us to effectively treat them and manage them at a lower economic and emotional cost base. So effectively what we're trying to do is avoid hospitalisation. We're creating a platform that will allow the community health sector to adequately engage and motivate consumers to take control of their health. Sadly, the community health sector isn't working as effectively as it could today. In fact, 50% of patients that complete a community mental health episode in Australia don't actually improve. In fact, 8% of them actually deteriorate. It's not any better when we're talking about hospitalisations. If you're discharged from hospital after a chronic disease admission, there's a 10 to 20% chance that you'll land up straight back in hospital within a month. So, the core concepts or the core deliverables for Better Me focus on a platform that allows funders of healthcare to set up achievement or outcome-based funding models and make those funding models available to both the clinician and the consumer. It's very important that in an outcome-based economy, we can start to drive behaviours, motivation, and focus to preventative treatment. Obviously, we need to support that with technology that promotes collaboration, transparency, and motivation between the clinician and their individual. And thirdly, obviously, the individuals, their adoption and their engagement is paramount. So we want to use modern adoption techniques like tokenisation, gamification, and real-time feedback mechanisms to ensure or to maximise the opportunity for the consumers to remain engaged. So what does Better Me look like? It's bolt-on applications to existing healthcare applications that serve a specific purpose of helping the process of creating individual care plans for consumers, setting up goals and setting up tasks that then present itself to the consumer through a best-of-breed app designed to interact with the consumer on a daily basis. Remind them to do certain things, allow them to track certain tasks, ask them certain questions about their health and well-being. And now that we have this clinician-prescribed software, we have access to the consumer like never before. A new type of health data. Health data that tells us about the behaviours, the motivation, and more frequent measurement data in health. And we want to feed that back into the system to improve the patient experience and their knowledge and their interaction with the health system. So our immediate growth opportunities is through our integration to current industry applications. We believe that will give us access to over 8,000 currently practicing chronic disease management clinicians, and through that and their referral pathways to consumers, over 500,000 consumers in Australia alone. We believe there are huge opportunities to expand globally, and we've already started to explore those because the burden of chronic disease is not unique to Australia. So why is blockchain so important to all this? Well, we've had 10 weeks to figure it out. But in healthcare, we're dealing with some of the most sensitive, secure, but more importantly, valuable data on Earth. And blockchain represents a unique dynamic between trust, integrity, privacy, and personal control over security that hasn't been achievable in previous technologies. But what I really love about blockchain is that it's a community initiative. And to change healthcare, we need a community approach to change funding models, and that's what excites us. The team is myself. My name's Kai. I'm a 7-year veteran of healthcare. I specialise in chronic disease IT systems, and in that time I've built a best-of-breed platform for the delivery of care for mental health and drug and alcohol services. And my colleague, I'm getting the hurry up, sorry, and I can't sell you short, Mohammed. And my colleague Mohammed is a developer with 10 years experience in developing consumer apps, but more importantly has been a key driver in strategy and consumer engagement in the Middle East. So thank you for being here tonight, and feel free to come and chat to us after the presentation. Questions?
Thanks, Hi. Sorry, take the first one. So quick question. Do you understand, because I think health is a increasing focus worldwide. So I really do like the concept and it's a great presentation. So quick question, like do you understand currently in this space, who will be your main competitors? And are they utilizing blockchain? So for example, for existing traditional health related concept similar like you guys, but without blockchain, if they decided to, expand what they are doing currently using blockchain technology, what is your advantage compared to your main competitors?
Yeah, so I mean, we have competitors in different verticals of Better Me. It's important to, I guess, establish that we're not proposing to build a new clinical system where, the market's very full of competitors. We're very much focusing on building a platform that allows funders to change the dynamic of funding models, to change from, fee-for-service type interactions, but actually start to fund an outcome or an achievement that they want to get out of that. There aren't any systems that I'm aware of that tie in the clinical engagement factor, truly promote engagement between clinician and individual, but more importantly, acknowledge that funders are a key stakeholder in health and empower them to choose what outcomes they want to fund. So to that extent, I'm not aware of any competitors. Look, to give you a really cheap answer about my advantage, first mover we'll call it, but will that satisfy you? Okay, good, great.
You're looking at using an existing blockchain or making your own?
We are exploring options at the moment. We know what we need in terms of the technology. It's more like understanding the fundamentals into what we require. Yes, to start with, we will be looking for an existing technology, so we get people on board. During that process, we'll also learn if there are gaps, and we need to go and do our own stuff. We know some of the existing technology, they provide key concept that we're looking for. I think we will leverage on that to start with to build our proof of concept. In the meantime, in case that if we need another technology to overcome that gap, we'll look for an option to build our own blockchain. Yeah.
Yeah, Mohammed, look, could you tell me a little bit more about how and why you're using blockchain technology? So as I understand it, your technology sort of complements and piggybacks off the existing clinical systems or practice management systems. So you'll have access to existing data. Why do you need blockchain and how would you use it?
Yeah. I mean, there are a couple of things that were all said in the slide. The first thing is that we don't want to again build silos of data, right? We wanted to have data in the hands of consumers who owns it and let them go and decide who can access and how they wanted to give access to. Blockchain offers a great advantage over here where people can go and specify what sort of permissions they're willing to give. So we know the examples of like Facebook, what happened recently, right? We don't want it to do the same thing again. One of our core objectives is to put checks on us to make sure that everything what happens in the system is irreversible and we hold accountable of that, right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kai and team at Better Me. Next startup. I would like to invite a team who is going to shake up the building industry. Please welcome Chris from BuildSort.
Thank you. We're here to talk about the world's biggest supply chain issue, and that is in the building supply industry. Because of legislation and codes of practice, the procurement for building and construction is much different to any other supply chain. There's architects, engineers, building surveyors, and a whole other, up to 10 more professionals in the industry that are involved in getting together, that they don't trust each other, but they must come to a consensus of what is to be built. We're addressing their problems, and by that we can address the supply chain issues. So what are their problems? There's data silos between all of these organisations. They've got staff that are receiving emails and they're not filing their attachments. They're all worried about where did I put that file? And there's a slow approvals process because there's no way of automating anything. And there's counterfeit documents in the industry, which is a real big problem. So our solution basically looks like any normal document management system, where the engineer will attach some documents, a 3D model or drawings, and he'll send them through to his architect friend, but it will automatically be received and filed, tagged with all the information that they need. Now, if that person receiving on the other end doesn't have our system, it will go through a normal legacy email system, and through that we can create some virality into our system and get more people on. It's just a normal document management system. We get an overview, and there's competitors out there that are charging tens of thousands of dollars for the same thing. Okay, we've got a 3D model viewer. So this is the way that most architects and engineers, they trade information these days. And from these, we can select any item on here, and we can extract the quantities and their specification. And now that is what then goes onto the blockchain, so we can then find out what will need to be purchased. We've also been working for a few years with GIS. So we've built a previous startup, and this has been used to automate some planning regulations. So under the hood, we're running smart contracts for the automation to help speed things along. Now, smart contracts can only go so far. They can only work with the information that's on the blockchain. So we need an Oracle service. Now, this is our startup that we've started previously. We'll also have some digital identities to ensure trust in the system. Now, we'll have their qualifications of all these people involved and their insurance information. There'll be a digital token to help speed through the process of payments and ensure that the people have money to be able to pay those contracts. And of course, the 3D models that we talked about and an immutable document filing system. Our market is very large. So 13% of Australia's GDP, $12 trillion globally, and that is even growing. Our team, we've been on average together for 4.5 years. Myself, I'm a veteran of 17 years as a structural engineer in the industry. So these are my pain problems that I've been feeling for those number of years. 8 of those years I've had my own structural consultancy, and through that we've been building apps. Ryan has helped us to build those apps and has also got some experience in distributed filing systems. Aaron has some global marketing experience, and Lee, our operations, is running everything for me while I've been away for the last 10 weeks. We've also got a few more developers and a bit of a support team as well. So since 2016, we launched our previous app, Builders E-Commerce. We've won a couple of awards, including the Westpac Business of Tomorrow. We've also West Australia's equivalent of the I Awards. We've reached break-even and taken 80% of the West Australian market. We're just about to roll out across Australia, which will increase our market size by 1,000%. Our developers have got nothing to do right now, so right now they're working on a build prototype, ready for a global launch next year. Right now we're seeking some investment. We're looking for investors with an appetite for blockchain and big data projects, and strategic partnerships with insurance, finance, and building material suppliers. So if that's you, please contact me later. Come to speak to me. Chris Dorian from BuildSort.
Hi, Martin here from Blockchain. Tell me a bit more about your token economy. You've got tokens in there. Why are they needed? What do they do?
So we'll have a token. We'll have two tokens, really. We'll have one for an international trade token, and then we'll also have another one for local fiat currency. So it will help with contracts and releasing payment and ensuring that the people who start the contracts also have tokens, so we can see that they have the ability to fulfill those contracts as well.
Have you settled on a particular technology to use for your blockchain?
We're talking to a big multinational at the moment who's offered to build this system for us, but we've also got keeping our options open at the moment.
And as an established business, I mean, you must have reasonable revenues to have that kind of market penetration. So are you expecting, I mean, what's your growth projections for the future with this technology?
So we're looking to go globally. We're looking at this as being able to work virally, so to get out there. It is a freemium model that we're working, so that will even help us to expand even faster.
So freemium and then collecting revenue through how? Transactions?
So we've got three different ways of, we've got premium products in there. So first of all, there's the GIS information, which we can use for automation. There'll be some data sales. So there's insurers, building material suppliers would love the data that we're producing. If we think about they would have the demand of all the materials before it, and so they would only manufacture for the demand that is there. And also we'll probably have a payment, a percentage for the fiat token currency.
Hello. I really like the look of your application. I think it's sexy and has a good user interface. So my question is about the distributed file storage. So what are you using right now with the application? And my next question would be, do you see that could potentially be an impediment for businesses to use your product, given perhaps IPFS and so forth might be seen as a little bit slow compared to centralised solutions?
Okay, yeah, so we're not going for a centralised solution. This will be an agent-centric blockchain. So everyone will have a copy of their own data. And so basically it will work as quick as the internet will send the files.
Right, and can you tell me a little bit about the way that you would use your smart contracts? What sort of purpose do they fulfil? So
smart contracts could be used for e-lodgement. So we've been talking to the West Australian government already, and they're implementing a e-lodgement solution. So if all of the things stack up, if everyone has certified their documents, release the building permit.
What's your main driver, Chris?
My main driver? This has been a pain point of mine for 17 years, especially for the last 8, making sure that my staff are doing the right job and doing their jobs properly. Now, this is a way of having that happen. There's also pain with all of the other architects and everything else that I've been dealing with. Pain with seeing supplies coming to site and they're being wrong, and having to tell people that they have to redo that or take that all down. Happened just recently. We've had to tell a steel supplier that he's about to lose all of his profit on a project because he's done it wrong.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Next, I would like to bring up a startup who wants to make a big and strong impact on our financial systems. So please welcome Simon and Aaron from Charlie.
Meet Charlie, open and helpful mobile banking. Last year, the big four banks made $31 billion in profit. That equates to $59,000 a minute in profit. This frustrates a lot of people. In fact, 6 million Australians are dissatisfied or extremely dissatisfied with their bank. 80% of Australians don't even trust their bank. That is the second lowest in the world. And I'm sure nobody in this room here is surprised we have a Royal Commission taking place given the amount of scandals that we have on. If you have a look at the screen right now, you're looking at a typical banking website. This one here is Wells Fargo from the US, but really could be any bank website. What it's doing here is looking to lock you in using their lending or their wealth management options. But we have good news. The industry is changing. Boom. Have a look at it here. It's the same screen, but we're overlaying here all the new digital players that are coming in. These, right now, you're getting choice. You're getting a better deal. And this is what consumers are after. But now you're faced with a slightly different situation. What you have here is you've got so much choice, you have to navigate and try to connect in. This is where Charlie comes in. Now, we're looking to create a platform bank. So a Charlie customer can actually have the options of the full marketplace. So if you wanted insurance from Bupa, you wanted to pay now through Bitcoin, or wanted to pay later through Afterpay, this is possible. Instead of us trying to be the best at everything, we're solely focusing on one thing, and that is customer experience. So now that we have access to the full marketplace, this is where Charlie, your digital concierge, comes into play. You get intelligent notifications and personalised recommendations. Have you ever known of a bank that gives you a notification before a direct debit bounces in your account? Or maybe you have additional funds in your account and it recommends maybe you should put this into a high interest earning account. Or even better yet, as you can see in the third option there, it can give you a recommendation to invest some of these surplus funds. This is genuinely helpful banking. Unfortunately, the regulator as well as consumers has totally lost trust with the financial sector. We are looking to change this. We're looking to build a bank on a private blockchain using a Hyperledger fabric. And this is for 3 reasons. This is built for integrity, security, and resilience, all baked in from day one. We can supply an observer node to the regulator so they can see in real time what is happening. This opportunity is huge. We are focusing on the millennial market, which accounts for $49 billion in Australia alone. This is expected to double in the next 2 years. We're actually taking a proven business model from abroad. We see this as inevitably is going to be happening here in Australia, and it has shown to operate at under 1% of the cost base of the current incumbent banks. By focusing on the customer, we're actually able to remove the 4 major costs. We no longer need branches. We don't need to build out all these different products. We don't need tens of thousands of staff. And arguably, most importantly, we no longer need to use the costly legacy infrastructure. Where we are today is we're bringing on our partners from the marketplace and engaging with APRA. We expect to have our MVP by the end of the year, and all going well, we will have a restricted banking license. To put a bank together, we need to form a rockstar team, and this is what we have from Charlie, people with product, tech, and banking experience. Myself, Simon, one of the co-founders of the Compare Asia Group, the largest fintech in Southeast Asia. We have Aaron Chipper, our CTO, has 25 years in payments experience and wallet building, and sold his last company to Telstra. We have Warren, currently at McKinsey, currently within the Financial Institutions Group. We also formerly used to work together at Compare. We have Emma, 12 years within banking, formerly the head of strategy at HSBC. And we have Georgia, our CMO, who formerly used to work for both Enrolo and Street Bees, both VC-backed ventures. So we're looking to be Australia's newest digital bank, and with Charlie. Thank you very much.
All right, that's a very impressive and ambitious pitch there. I run a Bitcoin exchange, so banks are definitely no friend of ours. But one thing that they do really well, or a few things that they do very well, is they're very convenient and I guess seen as a trust to some point. If there's an issue, we know we can call them up, usually reverse a charge if there's fraud. If there's an issue, I can go into a branch. So I'm wondering how you guys plan to tackle that side of the problem.
Sure. So there's two parts. One, there's retail banking, and then there's business banking. So one, I assume you're referring to business banking for right now. We're focusing initially on retail banking, and at the moment it is much more in-app support. So currently in Australia we have a reasonable sort of digital solution inside the banks, but today there is no bank in Australia where you can effectively WhatsApp or communicate back and forth. A couple of things happen here. You need to, I think the real thing what you want there when you try and contact the bank is you want to get instant response. It's not necessarily a desire, I really want to speak to somebody. In fact, I would argue you don't necessarily want to speak to somebody. By being in-app support, you don't need to identify yourself. You've already logged in. You can say, hey, this is my last transaction, what's going on? And someone can come back immediately.
Simon, thanks for the pitch. So we're seeing the rise of the neobank now. We've seen the Izinja just recently through equity crowdfunding. They're one of Australia's first, I guess, independent digital banks. So I'm glad to see that you guys are heading in that direction. My question's obviously related to the blockchain element. The blockchain will essentially be the foundation of your whole platform. So what are the risks and fallback plans around scalability? Do you see any challenges with that? I mean, I'm not sure where your technology and MVP is up to right now, so it'd be good to hear.
Sure. So we thought long and hard about this. The idea of going down a traditional sort of database path is certainly very attractive, and I've got 25 years experience in scaling those sorts of systems as well. We ended up settling on Hyperledger Fabric as our baseline, as we tried out a whole bunch of different sort of tests and things like that, and we were happily seeing performance throughput that was easily supportable for what we wanted to achieve. Initial sort of tests and that sort of thing showing it to scale quite nicely.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. How much capital do you need to launch a bank? And you're looking to do that through equity or through a token sale?
So initially we were looking to traditional investment until we get past MVP, bring on the partners and etc. We're opening ourselves up to a potential ICO. We haven't necessarily made that call right now. At the start, it's very much strategic investment, but as you get larger, and especially being retail-based, an ICO, I think, really gives potential exposure, and then people can see and give, I suppose, from a PR perspective. So I think it's very likely, but unconfirmed yet.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
You had on one of your slides about a marketplace. That's how you might compete with the product offerings of existing banks. Can you elaborate on the marketplace a little bit?
Elaborate on the marketplace. So why it is we want this? Well, I think you've got to look at, it really comes down to ultimately to choice. Now, it's choice, and also I would add that into convenience. So the example is, and I've tried to bring it up before, if you've got a couple of grand that sits in your bank account, just think about the average person, you get a Christmas bonus, you've got 2 grand sitting there. What do? Long is you probably do nothing, right? You're just going to sit there. You're not going to bother researching what is the right managed fund, what's Bitcoin doing today. And the answer is you probably do nothing. 2, you weren't even aware that 2 grand is what you could invest. And then 3, because we have APIs and it is quite seamless in the fact that a matter of taps, you can open up an account, select and put it into a managed fund. I think it's easy and convenience. All the information you require, name, address, we have all that information and we can just pass this on. So I think it has a huge benefit, and that's investment. We spoke about insurance, etc. all these different things. As long as it's easy and convenient, I think consumers will like it.
Thank you, Simon and Aaron. All right, we are getting there. As you can see, there are so many different applications on blockchain. I just want to take about 30 seconds here. I see there's a lot of people standing up over there. If you have a seat next to you, can you just raise your hands? And would you guys like to take a seat? Excellent. Make a new friend, meet a new neighbor. Who knows what you have in common? All right. Any more movement? Great. So the next startup we have is a team who wants to enable a fairer and equitable construction system. So let's welcome Anissa from Fair and Square.
We are Fair and Square, your instant compliant construction payments. The construction industry has 15% more insolvencies than any other industry in Australia. Currently, it's a $3 billion debt on the Australian economy. Now, last year, over 1,500 contractors became insolvent. Now, consider this. For every contractor that goes bust, it impacts between 50 to 100 subcontractors. Now, I watched my best friend and their husband chase a builder for $15,000 payment. They hired an expensive lawyer to chase the money, only to be told as an unsecured creditor they'd never see their money. Now, these insolvencies highlight a cultural, systematic problem within the construction industry. So the Queensland government decided that they were going to do something about it, and they released the Building Industry Fairness, Security of Payment Act. Now, this legislation mandates project bank accounts as a trust with subcontractors as beneficiaries of this trust account. Now, we spoke to a lot of contractors, and they've expressed anger, frustration at all this administration work that they now need to provide for compliance. Now, this isn't just a Queensland problem. The construction industry is a $10.3 trillion industry globally and growing. And project bank accounts are currently used in New South Wales, WA, and more importantly in the UK. And a lot of countries are looking at what Queensland's doing because they're doing more than what anybody else is doing. So we knew we had to do something to help them. And we're developing a collaborative online platform that manages progress claims as well as the project bank account process. Using our platform, you can see that it's easy to pay, assess and manage your progress claims, but also the platform provides real-time transaction management and cash flow predictions. And as your third party verifying your legislative compliance, we provide peace of mind. So our working prototype, we're able to demonstrate to the contractors all the other benefits that our digital platform provides. They're able to manage variations, track retention, and we're also able to onboard second and third subcontractors into the system so that it's a holistic view of everybody that's involved in the construction of a particular project. We'd also like to use blockchain as a tamper-evident distributed ledger where we're able to timestamp those payments and provide undeniable evidence that the payments have occurred. And using truthful statutory declarations, we're able to assist the contractors in ensuring that there are no duplicates, mistakes, or fraudulent claims. Now, this is really great when you're in dispute resolution or you're in court arbitration and for overall your client satisfaction. Now, when blockchain, the regulators actually become more evolved in understanding about the cryptocurrency, the ability to actually start to transact on the blockchain is very attractive between contracting parties, especially if that involves someone from overseas. So we avoid those frustrating delays through overseas payments. Now, the holy grail, of course, is to have whole contract supply on smart contracts. So what we're able to do is code the supply of materials, finishes, fixtures and equipment and have instant payment on delivery using existing technologies that we already use, such as BIM, schedules and bill of quantities, and then using the trust accounts to ensure that it's instant payments. Now, this is the future of construction management. We are Australia's first project bank account agency, and using my 17 years of experience in the industry, we've developed a process with other industry experts in legal, accounting and banking to develop this system. And with your investment, we're going to move forward with the first project bank account platform in the market. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. It's great to see a female talking about blockchain technology. That's awesome. Just a really quick one, because I obviously understand that there's lots of protection for the subcontractors.
Yes.
But I was just wondering, so for the company or individual who subcontract, so where's the protection for that party? So for example, once they enter into this contract in the trust account, is there any way to stop the payment at all?
So are you wondering about the head contractor being protected or the subcontractor?
The head contractor. So for example, they were contracted to perform a particular task. So what if, for example, they couldn't really...
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that progress claims work in construction is that a subcontractor sends a claim to the builder, and the builder often look at that and say, well, actually you didn't do that very well, or you didn't do that right, and they might use a quantitative surveyor to back them up to provide external opinion so that it's not so subjective in how much money they're paying. And ultimately they make that decision and then they issue the progress schedule, and all of this can be done on our platform as an automated process, and then that automatically goes up to the client to pay. So that the builder does have the opportunity to assess whether they are able to claim the money that they are. So that's always been in the legislation and the contracts.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. So I guess first of all, I think there could be like a synergy between you guys and BuildSort, with you focusing on the contracts administration and payments and the submittal transmittal system there. Great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So my question is just about, so it's fairly transparent. The subcontractors can see the sort of position liabilities and upcoming progress payments, of whether the contractor can service that payment. That's right?
No, there's two portals. So a head contractor will have their own portal, and they can see everybody that's giving them claims. They can see everybody else that's claimed. Their client or the principal can see that as well. But the subcontractors will have their own portal to come into, and they'll only see what their claims are and what claims they've paid. The legislation is there so that they have... so within that 1 month, they know that they've been paid for everything up until that first month, or the month that's coming up. So that's where they get their protection.
Okay, great. So just on that, what about the legislation for the other states in Australia? So typically, as I understand it, you might have just a bank guarantee, for some contracts.
Yeah.
So where the trust model is a little bit different, so you'd have to... It's actually verifiable in the bank account, correct?
Yeah. So New South Wales and WA use project bank accounts, but they're only for government legislation. However, they're looking really closely at what Queensland's doing. So Queensland took what they have done, and in the UK, and they've said, we're going to up the ante, because it's just an unacceptable, on society. And so the requirement for all projects over $1 million to have a project bank account, that's a really large chunk of the construction market. I mean, it's a $34 billion industry in Australia. So the other states are looking very closely at what we're doing, and the talk is that they will start to adopt what Queensland's doing. So the aim for us is then to hit those other states, demonstrate what we're doing up in Queensland, and what you'll start to see is the other states will start saying, we need to do this as well to protect the industry.
And that's your opportunity. Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Anissa. Next up, a team who is empowering the unbanked and the poorly banked. So please welcome Dylan from DataPay.
Hi everybody, I'm Dylan and this is Stephen, and we're from DataPay. We kind of missed the memo on only having one presenter, so you're getting two for the price of one here. Okay, so I'll move the slide over. Okay, at DataPay, what we are doing is building a platform to turn financial payments transaction data into a data asset. So the easy way to understand it is that having a bank account or having financial services will be free using our platform. Okay, DataPay lowers transaction costs using this fancy thing called blockchain. Every payment becomes a data asset for consumers and merchants to use with DataPay tokens. Everyone participates in this ecosystem, removing inequalities for social impact. Okay, now a bit of a heads up, our slides aren't as fancy as our predecessors, so we've been busy building the business. Okay, we're quite well advanced. Okay, DataPay solves a massive problem for consumers and businesses. Up here we've got 6.8 billion poorly banked people, which means they aren't able to borrow money. 2 billion unbanked people, which means they don't have bank accounts. On the business side, 320 million businesses don't have a bank account. So what that means is very large addressable market for our business. Now, it's quite optimistic to think we'll get all of that. We are going to try, but if we can just get a small percentage of that, then we're going to be quite a successful business. Okay, this unattractive 1980s old school slide here is showing the reasons why people don't have a bank account. A few reasons there, like lack of trust, but the number one reason, which is shown at the bottom there, is that they simply can't afford to have a bank account. Okay, so why is this? The main and biggest reason is that the infrastructure to do this is too big and expensive. It's a legacy infrastructure that's been built upon over around 40 years and is just built upon and built upon. There's a lot of incumbent players, big expensive companies with executives being paid too much money, and that is all paid for by our financial payments transaction fees. The payment experience at the moment is very frustrating and is not really a service at all. At the moment, banks control and sell our data, and transaction fees at the moment are opaque, meaning that there's no real visibility as to where the money's going. But unfortunately, up until now, there's no real alternative.
So, what's DataPay's solution? So DataPay's solution is an idea built around a regular practice at the moment, which is banking in a lot of these areas which are not here. Probably no one in the audience is driven by SMS or USSD technology. So I can go on my mobile phone in Kenya as part of a certain technology, and with a smartphone or a non-smartphone, I can still transact. What we do is not a hardware solution for banking and transactions. It's a software solution. And what our competitive advantage is essentially by removing a lot of the dependence on that legacy hardware, we're able to be cheaper. We're also smarter. So once you start putting payments on blockchain, you can put conditionality on some of these aspects as well. So mum can give $60 for someone to go and get the groceries for the month and then say that's only usable in that merchant ID. Safer. Blockchain is inherently safer. Obviously, there's elements of other cybersecurity that needs to be put in place, and the sharing of data is the key point here. At the moment, it's a dark market where the big banks and payment producers have your data. You may not know it, but they're using it and they're monetizing it. We want to put that back to consumers and merchants. We've looked at several options. Our CTO over in Austin, Texas, has decided that Stellar is most appropriate for us. It allows for not the full community to be validating the transaction, but just the consumer, the merchant, and the relevant pieces. It's also got costs of transactions that prevents sort of 51% attacks. This slide is our business model. So we are competing, if you can see here, on fee for service. It's cheaper. That's what people are used to. We're still going to be ready for that. But we're also doing something new. We're providing data for service. So how can my data generated from my transaction actually lower my cost of banking? And then that leads us to what's really innovative about what we're doing. The cost of the user, or the value of the user, actually now generates a value, and that's our DataPay token. We have a private pre-sale. We are pursuing an ICO, but there's not enough time to discuss that today. And we're an established team with a couple of strategic partners. Our partners have backgrounds in ICOs, cybersecurity and fintech. Our partners are actually in the business of East Africa, 4 or 5 countries, providing 2 million transactions a day, and that's where we're going to go to market with this. Thank you again. In short, we're lowering the cost of transactions to compete, and we're creating a data asset with each transaction that's no longer owned by the banks, but is owned by you as the consumers and the merchants.
Thank you.
We can share. We can all share.
What's the value of your pitch as opposed to just directly using a coin such as Bitcoin, or maybe a coin that's better priced such as Bitcoin Cash?
So at the end of the day, what you described is it's still a currency. What we're saying is that by engaging with us and our platform, our business, it's really about that app and experience with the user. So the user then generates their own data. Their transaction creates data that's usable. So don't think transaction and fee. Think, why is one piece of data by itself valuable? It's valuable because it's part of a community of data. So then when you aggregate that data, someone can sell that. No longer is that hidden. That's now available to you through provenance of data or various blockchain-based solutions to hand you back some value in that equation.
Yeah, you're challenging a very big problem. Where will you start geographically?
East Africa. So maybe I'll give you some color on that. So our two partners that we had on the screen before, Jumbo Pay, is 2 million transactions a day and based out of Kenya. People may not be aware of this, but I recommend you have a look. Kenya actually has a community already used to a lot of these problems because they're on the M-Pesa. The M-Pesa is tied to Safaricom, the telco, and everyone pays for things with their mobile phone. So this is not a change of behaviour. It's much easier for us to get adoption in a country like that than it is for, say, here.
Why are you guys the right people to do this?
Because we care? No, more than that. Do you want to?
You go.
Look, we've been in business in Africa for 15 years in different parts. Our partners are the ones who we're behind, but our partners are the face of their business. So we're really supporting local partners in that country. I think data is the new oil. So fee for service is dead, but it might take 20 years for that to occur. So let's use data in the meantime in terms of educating people how to use data. The people who are going to benefit most from this are those people in the third world, as other people call it. We say they're actually, one of the fastest growing communities. Again, not sure if everyone's aware, the largest free trade agreement was signed there 1 month ago, covering 44 presidents in one room, all agreeing to create a single digital currency. Now, we can't get anyone in Australia to think like that, and sure as hell the West and other countries aren't even thinking like that. So when you've got Africa saying, hey, we're going to break down our barriers and we're actually going to make a single currency, no borders, single market, 1.2 billion people, I want to be a part of it. So we're backing local entrepreneurs and we're trying to be a part of it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Project DataPay. Next, we have a team who is going to re-establish our online profiles. We know we've had quite a few of those, but let's hear what from the team. Oliver from Reputation Air. Please welcome him.
Hi, I'm Oliver from Reputation Air, representing the co-founders who are overseas attending blockchain events. In 2017, Australians were scammed out of $90 million. It's hard to determine trustworthiness. Businesses suffer from this too. In fact, from our discussion with real estate agents, we learned that their most significant source of income is rental applicants. But then 35% of cases, things didn't go smoothly and they ended up keeping all or some of the tenant's bond. At the same time, many social groups are at a distinct disadvantage when applying for loans, insurance, jobs and housing because of negative bias and mistrust. For example, of the 800,000 yearly migrants like DRCTO, many struggle to secure a tenancy agreement because of a lack of local references. It's hard to prove trust. Services like Airbnb and Uber are solving trust for themselves via reviews and reputation locked away within their own platforms. But we live in an age where centralised services own all our data and sell it without our knowledge. Could people like D unlock and leverage their existing reputation, for example, as one of Victoria's 15,000 daily Airbnb guests? In fact, they can, and that's exactly what D did. Reputation Air allows anyone to unlock their existing reputation, saving time by adding additional trust data to any business's application process. With us, the user and only the user has the key to not only their data, but more importantly, their reputation that they've spent time earning. Our ready-to-launch blockchain-enabled platform allows users to link any service for their reputation. For example, Airbnb for their guest score, or Airtasker for their reviews as a freelancer. They're then empowered with the ability to reveal this reputation, instantly showing they're trustworthy, for example, to secure a loan, a job, or a tenancy agreement. We overcome negative bias and mistrust with the option to remain anonymous yet trusted, a bit like Batman. And users can take their reputation with them so they never have to start from 0 stars when joining a new service. Unlike centralised services, we've built Reputation Air on an irrefutable blockchain ledger, giving users security, privacy and control. Furthermore, services that rely on trust between users are able to use us as a reputation data store. We've confirmed that our trial employers are willing to pay for aggregated access to trust information. We expect great adoption, just like Clout Scores, which went viral. Consenting users' reputation. Our closest competitor, Traity, also links reputation, but is centralised and only supports 14 services. Yet they secured $4.7 million in investment and a partnership with Suncorp. Our USP is that, unlike Traity, we don't require users to give us their passwords, and we support linking reputation from any service. Our accomplished tech co-founders share a common vision based on their experiences carrying reputation across industries. We'll onboard users from partner peer-to-peer services who will pay for an enriched trust view of consenting users' anonymised data. With the growing peer-to-peer economy, conventional businesses such as insurers, lenders and employers will be increasingly unable to risk profile their applicants. they'll buy access tokens to our consenting users' anonymised profiles, allowing them to provide targeted offers. These users will be rewarded with tokens for sharing their anonymised data. Today, 25% of the workforce are gig workers relying solely on their reputation for the next job. In the next 10 years, this will rise to 40% with a turnover of $2 trillion per year. In our MVP, reputations are linked to the service that issued them. But in our planned trust networks, users will see how many people trust them and how many of their friends trust a business. IBM have awarded us $160,000 in service credits to analyse big data in trust networks in and between services using machine learning. Our mission is to become the decentralised credit check-like service for trust, free from race, religion, age and gender biases. Thank you.
All right, I'll ask a quick one. So I was just trying to visualize exactly how the platform looks like. So for example, you said there's no password required. So does that mean that anyone can just browse all of your members and see what is their reputation scores?
No. So what happens is the user will have their own, they'll demonstrate currently to reputation there through one of the accounts that they're trying to link reputation from via a concierge service. But they'll have a private key which encrypts their reputation, and it's only them that can actually decrypt it so that people can use it. But people can request to see their reputation.
I see.
There's an episode of Black Mirror that is scarily close to this sort of concept. It tells a story of a society that's too scared to tell the truth or not to smile to one another for fear of ruining their reputation. My question is, you say how this will help not discriminate against certain types, but are you actually worried that this might actually just be an additional source of discrimination?
Yeah, this is an important ethical concern. But the status quo is that people are biased against, and that's currently built into the system. What we're working towards is a world where people can hide information that they don't want to be revealed and reveal only information that is particularly relevant to what they're being asked for. Legislation is an important part of this. It's important for laws to be in place to say, hey, a real estate agent is only able to request from somebody these certain aspects of their information. And ultimately, it's up to the user at the end of the day to reveal what they want to reveal.
Hello. So I guess the concept of self-sovereign identity is sort of becoming increasingly more important, as you alluded to, and I'm a fan, so I'm glad you're playing in this space. In relation to the technology and the blockchain, I mean, these technologies are somewhat immature, and so have you put any thought into, I guess, risk management, making it perhaps protocol agnostic, and just, I guess, safeguarding your platform and your system against any kind of attack or vulnerability?
So preventing attacks and vulnerability, I'm probably not the best person to answer. A
little bit technical, yeah.
Yeah, but what I can say is that reputation there will be not able to govern the reputation that someone acquires through some service. So firstly, the user's private key will be required to decrypt and encrypt, sort of like orthogonal to the blockchain bit. But services that want to use us as a reputation data store also have a private key, and both those keys will be required to actually put things on and off the blockchain. So at least that removes the vulnerability from our end, because we can't actually see anyone's data or control it. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Will you start here in Australia, or where will you start the business?
Yeah, so we're going to start with approaching conventional businesses such as real estate agents and employers, and basically provide them with access to this enriched trust view, and then they'll pay us to onboard users into Reputationaire, and then from there we aim to expand out to other areas.
Thank you, Oliver. Have a few more coming up, but before that, the sun has set and it's beautiful outside. So what a beautiful venue that we have here. So can we just give a round of applause to Metropolis for allowing us to have this in such an amazing space. Next we have is a startup who wants to create a more fairer, equitable hospitality landscape for both workers and employers. So please put your hands together for Jordan from SUP. There he is.
Thanks, John. I'm going to speak from the lectern. Sound go? All right. Can I get a show of hands from anyone in the audience who either currently works in hospitality or has done in the past? Geez, okay, so that's a lot. You're probably going to be familiar with this story. Now, for the rest of you, hospitality is not all flat whites and avocado on toast. This industry has a dark underbelly. It's being held back by outdated staffing practices and a black market for labour. Last year, our team launched an app which allows workers to pick up last-minute shifts at local venues. My name is Jordan, and I'm here to announce that SUP is scaling into a decentralised, autonomous global cooperative. How the app works is when a barista requests leave at your cafe, the manager posts a shift to 500 baristas in the local area who apply, and then you can pick one based on their platform reputation. This happens so frequently that with minimal marketing and just an iOS app, we processed over $140,000 worth of shifts, one at a time. SUP now has a community of 2,000 workers and 300 venues using the app just in inner Melbourne. We seek to make it possible for venues to source their entire casual workforce from SUP. Those of you with a keen eye would have noticed me up there. Part of our motivation for building the app was selfish. We built it to solve our own problems. We're hospitality and technology experts, and some of our team and advisors have built some of Australia's most iconic hospitality brands, including Loon, Little Creatures and St. Ali. Our tech co-founder, Sean, has worked on apps for some of Australia's largest marketplaces, and we have a team of expert blockchain developers ready to go. You may have recognised some of those headlines. It's problematic. But the corporate model is flawed. We don't want to follow in the footsteps of Uber and Airbnb and build a corporate monopoly where the investors are in Silicon Valley. I mean, do Silicon Valley investors really have a barista in Melbourne's best interests at heart? A cooperative is a welfare-enhancing model which will use blockchain to empower users to operate and own their own community. As a cooperative, it will mitigate black market shifts and encourage hirers to share their productivity savings with workers in the form of higher wages. It will put an even focus on social, cultural and economic goals. And it will be crowdfunded to allow global retail investors to participate alongside venture capital. Here are some cooperatives. The largest in the world is Credit Agricole. It turns over greater than 30 billion euros in revenue per annum. Most of you have probably heard of Fonterra, the dairy co-op, which is based in New Zealand. They are big and resilient businesses. So we'll employ blockchain for an arbitration system so the community can overcome disputes together. Our current revenue model is charging a 10% service fee on wages processed, so workers get most of the pie. And blockchain will also be used to distribute the co-op surpluses to those who hold coins in their tip jar. We'll introduce a utility token which can be earned and staked on shifts on the platform or held in their digital tip jar to unlock certain governance rights. A pre-mined allocation of tokens will be used to reward early adopters in every city that we expand to. Hospitality is one of the largest global workforces, employing 10% of that workforce. Up on the screen you can see this concept of the digital tip jar and income remittance. At the moment there are 200 million millennials travelling. A lot of them work in hospitality. They want to be able to take their reputation earned in one city to the next and maybe not cash out all of their earnings, so keep it in their tip jar. There are 800 million temporary foreign workers in other countries, including in the kitchens of Australia, who are remitting money home to their family. I'll just leave this slide up here for the questions, but we have proof of concept. We've raised 250,000 Aussie, or about 200,000 US. We're at the seed stage of welcoming investors to apply to join us in a $1.8 million round. We're about to launch the Android app. We have a draft white paper. Later this year we're expanding around Australia, implementing blockchain, and we'll be performing an ICO toward the end of it. Next year I hope I'm flying all around the world building this global co-op. Thanks.
Thank you. I just want to ask a really quick one. So, would the workers be paid using your utility tokens?
Potentially in the future, I think, and Cam can probably speak more on behalf of the hospitality worker at the moment.
Look, in time, as using cryptocurrency becomes more mainstream, it may be an option. They might be able to use a sliding scale to be paid 100% in tokens or 100% in fiat.
Okay. So at the beginning, obviously, you guys will be using fiat as the currency to pay for your workers. Yes. Because potentially, if the workers will be paid using tokens, then the value of the token, if it fluctuates a lot, you know, like current what we see in the crypto market, the value can go up and down by large percent in a day. So potentially, you did a 8-hour shift today, and tomorrow that might only worth 4 hours. So I think potentially stabilize your token value would be one of the things if you are going to pay your workers using your utility tokens.
We couldn't agree more. We're trying to be realistic about it. I think today most workers just want to be paid out in whatever local fiat currency it is to pay their bills. And maybe at some point in the future, SUP will have its own stable coin, or it might be the one utility token. If it's stable enough, people might elect to be paid out. First and foremost, we're solving this problem for them. The payment protocol will come later.
So I guess my question would be then now, what is the value of the tokens? Like what is the value, what is carried in the value of the tokens if we're not really using it to pay the workers?
Right, so the token will be introduced into SUP's economy for driving good behaviour. At the moment there's a lot of bad acting, and that is partly why there's such a black market in the hospitality industry. So we will be using the token to drive good behaviour. Now, holding on to the token will give you access to participating in an arbitration system, which will allow you to earn more tokens. It will give you voting power in this cooperative, and you also get part of the 10% service fee. So there's an incentive to hold on to the tokens, and there might be the ability to cash them out.
You may have answered my question already. So I've got 2 daughters who've been ripped off by cafe owners over the last year or so. So just talk me through how this would help them in that situation, and a little bit more about the tip jar, which I think probably refers to more the token thing you mentioned just before. So.
Sure. So we have the SUP blockchain protocol includes governance, payment, and value. So part of the governance protocol is ensuring workers and hirers stake a token on each shift. So they've got something of value on the line similar to a bond. And if they don't show or they cancel the shift at the last minute, then they lose that. If a worker or hirer is unhappy with the initial ruling, then they can escalate that to our arbitration system. So in your daughter's case, if they were underpaid, they could escalate it. Now, Fair Work in Australia receives over 14,000 allegations of underpayment every year, and they only litigate around 50. So they're not resourced enough to warrant investigating every single $100 or $200 case out there. So this is introduced. We're proposing a kind of neighbourhood watch to the hospitality industry, so they can police themselves. And
sorry, and in your daughter's case, the businesses are subject to star rating as well, so they can choose whether they want to apply for shifts at a 5-star rated business, so they can maybe build that into their own safety before they try to get a job.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Team SUP. So for our final presentation and pitch this evening, a team who is developing an innovative crowdfunding platform for gaming. So please welcome Mike from Unicorn.
Hi. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael. Today, I'm going to introduce you with Unicorn X, a brand new blockchain gaming ecosystem. Everybody has a dream. Imagine you are a game developer. One day you have come up with a very exciting gaming idea. However, in order to achieve your dream, you have to talk with players to do user needs validation. You have to raise enough funds. Then you need to find the ready developers to help you with your gaming project. In the end, you may need to spend more than half of your budget on the marketing, which is a waste of money. These are the factors that hold you back from your dreams. However, things have changed a lot with Unicorn X. Unicorn X helps every game company and developer to do crowdfunding in a fast and easy way. We also help them to develop blockchain products, as well as convert their existing products into blockchain products with no efforts, which is magical. Let's see more details. If you want to do crowdfunding with Unicorn X, we'll help you simply set up a smart contract and issue your own tokens. These tokens would be sold to the players who are interested in your game projects and the investors who may think your project has much more potential in the upcoming future. These two groups of people are actually become the stakeholders of your project. With a good incentive mechanism, they will bring all the resources you need to your game project. For each token holder, firstly, just as Kickstart, you can get the game products and the game services at a much lower price. Secondly, if today there's a bunch of people come into a gaming project, they have to purchase your tokens to play your games. So the price of the tokens would simply rise up, and you can get benefits from token appreciations. Thirdly, thanks to blockchain technology, now everybody can get dividends in real time, automatically, from every single purchase, which is amazing. More importantly, just imagine if you have the opportunity to invest the next Google, Facebook, or Apple, Microsoft, how much rewards will you get? That's the feature that Unicorn X provides. To summarize, we are building an exchange with ICO function and game content distribution system. More importantly, We help you sell your dreams. We help you share your dreams with the people who believe in your dreams and may want to grow with you together, not only some venture capitals who care more about your money. Let's introduce our public chain, UnicoOS. UnicoOS is the world's first P2P user-oriented blockchain operating system. As we can see from the picture, it is the middleware between the applications and other public chains. It is a scheduler. It is expandable and upgradable, so it is a viable and suitable product for supporting large applications such as games. We decided to use stack data structure to give unlimited scalability for people's daily use. Next is our partners. We are thrilled to announce that now we are getting more than 3 million potential users who wish to join our ecosystem. And team members. I won the first prize in Olympia Informatics competition. I'm an Oracle certification, and I'm very familiar with the entertainment industry. Ethan is a blockchain expert, and he has worked with many listed companies. Daniel was a financial manager in Hong Kong, and Swan helped develop VR applications in Australia. Let's see our potentials. In 2017, in terms of the game industry, there are only 20 million market cap on Kickstarter, a crowdfunding website, comparing to $4.3 billion on Steam, which is a famous game platform. There is a huge gap between the innovators and big companies. And these things have to be changed. With Unicorn X, we believe every dreamer could find people who dream the same dream to make their dreams come true. With Unicorn X, you are not alone. And with Unicorn X, everybody could become a unicorn. Thank you.
Well, everybody seems to like that one. I mean, you rush through the slides on the technical parts, but it seems quite aggressive. It seems like technically quite challenging. What are sort of timelines around the implementation? How will you phase and stage that?
Firstly, we are going to announce the crowdfunding website, then the exchange. So at this moment, we are going to use the Ethereum. But after that, we are also developing our public chains at the same time. So it would be announced at the end of this year.
That's a very lofty goal, but I wish you luck.
Thank you.
So I just want to get it right. So you guys are not really building games. More so, it's like a crowdfunding platform. So helping those people who want to build games to issue their ICOs to get money to start.
Yeah, actually, we have now got more than 7 gaming companies. Some of them are listed companies in China who want to issue their tokens on our platform. So basically, the benefits for them is there's no fees for them to be listed on the exchanges. And they can get crowdfundings, they can get connections with the industry. We are also building a built-in LinkedIn only for the games industry as well. So besides, we also get more than 5 million Australian dollars investments currently. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. I think what people love is your passion.
Thanks.
Well done.
Thank you.
Wow. Hello. Wow, what a finish to our pitches. Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Unicorn. So now, well, firstly, I just saw that he was on stage with Sai, so hopefully Sai will create a blockchain song one day, and then we'll go into our heads, and it will help with the adoption of blockchain throughout the world. Now, the jury is now going to deliberate, and please make careful consideration of every single thing. But let's give another round of applause for all the startups that have pitched tonight. Thank you so much. One thing that I've loved seeing them is they are each other's cheerleaders. They have supported each other. They are giving each other advice, and they are like a little unit, I guess, with a lot of classes and different incubator programs. So it's something that we're very proud of. And again, thank you, Charsha, for creating such a wonderful environment for them to have that. So let's continue. And now, as the jury deliberates, we are going to have an official signing ceremony from our newest global partner, Cointree. So I would like to invite Martin Davidson, CEO of Blockchain Centre, and CEO of Cointree, Shane Stevenson, up to the stage. Please welcome them.
Okay, excellent. Are you speaking first, Shane? I believe you are. Oh, right, okay, excellent. Okay, hello everybody again. Hope you've had an interesting evening tonight so far and enjoyed the pictures from the startups. So yeah, just going to keep this brief. Basically, Blockchain Centre has been around for a few years. Initially started in November 2014 as the Melbourne Bitcoin Technology Centre. We rebranded a couple of years ago now, and since then we've onboarded some awesome corporate sponsors who really, without them, none of this would be possible today. So they were Blockchain Global, who's been the largest sponsor and supporter since we started. We've now recently onboarded Digital X, which is an ASX-listed company. They've been involved in some really successful blockchain startups. And we also have, my mind's just gone blank because the staring at me here. Who else have we got, Karen? My mind's gone blank. We've got Blockchain Global, Digital X, ACX as well, which is and IBM, that's right. Thanks, guys. Cheers. How embarrassing. So, yeah, so the newest partner and sponsor to the Blockchain Centre is Cointree. So we're really, really excited to have Cointree on board. They've been around for a few years now, one of the longest running exchanges in Australia. And it's a real privilege and an honour for them to be part of our sponsors. So thanks very much, Cointree, and over to you, Shane.
All right. Thank you, Martin. Can I use this? Is this? Yeah. Hello. Test, test. Thank you, Martin. Thank you for the kind words. Good evening, everyone. It's an honour to talk to all of you today. 5 years ago, Cointree was born. And 5 years ago, the cryptocurrency was a much different place. Crypto back then was largely unheard of. And on top of that, the largest exchange had just gone bust, destroying trust and confidence in the industry. Blockchain itself was rarely mentioned outside the context of Bitcoin, and any news was targeted and negative towards the industry by mainstream media. Community meetups were small, incubators unheard of. Well, that was 5 years ago, and today things are much different. Blockchain now stands strong on its own. The technology is proven and gaining appreciation for how disruptive it really is. It is being adopted by large non-crypto industries, and we see a regular flow of positive news in the mainstream media. Cointree has experienced this journey over the last 5 years, and so has Martin and the Blockchain Centre. We are proud to be alongside them today. The work they are doing in the community is fantastic, and this incubator program is a great example of that. Congratulations to all the teams today. We have seen some really interesting ideas, and what is truly exciting is that for every idea that we know, both here and elsewhere, there are so many ideas that have been unannounced. Melbourne, Australia, globally, adoption is growing fast. So forget about waiting 5 more years. Imagine the industry 1 year from now. I'll wrap things up now by saying thanks to Martin and the Blockchain Centre team for being a great partner to work with. For everyone here, please join us at the after party. Details will be announced shortly. There will be cocktails, nibbles, exclusive crypto packages, and more. And we may also do a little tease of Cointree's next steps. Thank you.
okay, excellent. Cool.
Just letting you know, everybody, that's your partnership.
Okay, lovely.
And then you'll sign it together.
Okay, cool.
Here you go.
Thank you. Excellent. Would you mind just holding this? Yes. Thank you. Okay. 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 There you go. Excellent. Okay, do we get a photo now? I guess.
Yes. Karen, if you can come and take the official picture.
Okay, cool. Okay. Cool. Brilliant. What do I do with this now? Okay, cool. Okay, do we have John Quidham? Excellent. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Martin and Shane. I can't wait to see. I know that we'll create amazing partnerships with this and create amazing developments through the Blockchain Center and with CoinTree. So thank you so much. Next, I would like to invite, I think the jury is still deliberating, but CEO of Blockchain Global and co-founder of the Blockchain Center, please welcome Sam Lee.
Hi everyone. Hello? Okay, yeah, Martin and Shane. Yes, yes. Well, the space has definitely changed a lot. 5 years ago, this industry was just one that no one really paid attention to, and no one really understood. That all has begun to change as we see more and more people run events like this to help educate and bring together a community of passionate people that explores the future that can be when this technology brings about a more equal, transparent and distributed future. Shane and I have met for 4 years now, so I've seen him grow just like he's seen me grow as well. And Martin and I, when we first founded the Blockchain Center, all we could offer was paying for beer using Bitcoin. Because back then, we were too broke to even shout people alcohol. And I'm glad we did, because if we did shout people alcohol, people like Grant and William would have drunk us dry. Yeah. Multilateral media, boys. So, Blockchain Center was really not the focus of Blockchain Global. We're an investment company and we've been growing as one, having invested in over 60 projects and having deployed over $200 million US to date. We have created a global group of companies that symbiotically support each other and has also taken the Blockchain Center ethos to create 6 other blockchain centers across 3 continents around the world. There is over a dozen more coming up this year. And I would like to report that just 3 days ago, I was in Moscow and we signed with Vneshkono Bank, which is the largest state-owned bank in Russia, to launch the Blockchain Center in Moscow. For those looking for bank accounts, don't get too excited. They're a state-owned bank, so, they're there to work and implement blockchain technology into bringing up their efficiency and clearing out the back office. So, excuse me. So, anyways, there has been a lot of fun on this journey. I thank everybody who's been there from the very beginning, and I thank the people who are joining us today, because it's the constant evolution. As we get more people in, the ecosystem changes and evolves. So with that said, I would like to invite you guys to learn more about these amazing startups. But if you guys are time poor and don't have the scope or the breadth to take a punt, it's okay. That's where our funds come in. So this is one of our latest funds. It received an AFSL last week, and that's ready to go. So, yay, another fund. And I want to say that this fund is very different. We're the first we're the first company to use Bitcoin to invest in a public company. We're the first company to then get that public company to do a token issuance. The world of ICO and IPO will blend together and magic will happen. I would like to now show you those guys over there, Jason and Simon, they're waving. If you guys want to find out a little bit more about the funds that we run and the risk profiles they all adhere to, go speak to them. They'll be here throughout the event. I would now like to hand back to John.
Thank you. Well, that was a bit early. Hello? Let's go back. All right. So, it is awards time. This is the Oscar time of the night, so quite exciting. Firstly, are the jury ready? Jury? They seem to have disappeared. It must have been a hard task for them. But before that, anyway, we have our first award, and this award was through interviews throughout the week. It wasn't for tonight's pitch. It was an interview process that we did with the teams and asked them about how their teams perform. So under three criteria of organizational and cultural values, team experiences and background, and the third one is their systems and processes. There were, a winner was chosen to be awarded. But to award the winner, I'd like to invite Kenny Lee, partner of Agile Legal, to come up to the stage, which is no longer Kenny Lee. Do you know the winner? All right, you will be presenting, but the winner out of the 10 startup teams is Team Charlie. Please come up to accept your award. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's a few months. Oh, nice. Thank you very much.
Come back for another one. Just have a photo. Thank you so much, Agile Legal. And congratulations, Simon and Aaron and the rest of the team. Chasha jury, are they ready? Jury? Where is the jury? Have they run away? Do we have a runaway jury? I don't do karaoke. I don't have any tap dancing classes. I can't rap, but maybe Mike, who's shared the stage with Sai, can rap. But we have a 5-minute break. If anybody wants a drink, please go take a drink. But we have the next award that will be going to the best business solution. So let's take a 5-minute break. And that was Drew. Sorry. Sorry. Are you ready? Hello? Hello? Sorry that you are departing. We have the jury that has come back into the room. Our apologies. Our apologies. The sooner that we present these awards, the sooner we can celebrate the Incubator program at the after party. So thank you for your patience and thank you for coming back here. So to award the best business solutions, I would like to invite Jenny Quinn, Blockchain Global Chief Operating Officer, up to the stage.
Well, thank you, everyone. That was really exciting to hear the 10 startups all sharing their business ideas with us. The score is actually really, really tight between all of the teams. I personally liked Better Me. I thought, what can motivate me more than receiving tokens for running? You know, that could really get me to start exercising. But anyway, all of the judges' score shows the final winner is SUP. Where's the... Oh, there you go, there you go.
Thank you very much.
We thought, what can be better protecting our young people who's working in, you know, cafes and McDonald's, and you know, to make sure every single person who's working in any kind of environment getting fair paid. And this is a great user case, and you know, putting our blockchain into everyday use. So congratulations, guys. And as Blockchain Global, we present to you the first prize, Best Business Idea. There you go. Thank you, guys, for coming tonight.
Congratulations, SUP, Jordan and the team. Before we get to the final award, I would like to thank the jury for all their hard work in all their wonderful questions and their deliberation this evening. So please, let's give them a round of applause. I would like to acknowledge each one. Our head juror is Justine Italiana. Please stand up and say hello. Who you've seen award the last award, Jenny Quinn, Blockchain Global. We have Anush Manzoori, Executive Director of First Growth Funds Limited. No. All right. Martin Halford, CTO of Blockbrain. If you are interested, at about 2 hours ago, they did launch. So if you want to know more about Blockbrain, please talk to Martin. We have, as you've seen before, Shane Stevenson, founder and CEO of Cointree. And the last one, which he's coming up to the stage anyway to present the next award. Thank you for the jury again, but please welcome Kai Ansari, GM of Kanya.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kai Ansari. I'm from Kanya. So for those that don't know, Kanya is a peer-to-peer marketplace of services powered by the blockchain. That's my plug. So essentially what we're doing is disrupting the gig economy through decentralization. Tonight, I have the pleasure of announcing the best use case of blockchain technology, the winner of which will also receive 10,000 CAN tokens. Use case of blockchain technology. I just want to mention just briefly why this is important. Disruptive technologies such as DLT or blockchain, they're a profound economic force in the world with the power to drive significant change in business, economies and social structures. Now, these changes disrupt established business models and will place competitive pressure on almost every market and sector in the world. Now, blockchain is both, I mean, to me at least, a threat and an opportunity, and it presents unprecedented opportunities, some of which we've seen here tonight, I'm sure you'd agree. So those are things like new products and services, new markets, new relationships, and changes on a social level. Now, while we have many critics, which we do, we admit, it's argued that the implication to the world is more than just a fleeting transitional phenomenon, but more substantial change. Now, because disruptive change is path-breaking, it's hard to imagine like the complex and indirect changes on a social, business and economic level. And that's because disruptive technologies, specifically blockchain as we're seeing now, brings a very different value proposition than what we've seen before. I'm getting to the point. That's why the use case of blockchain is super important. It's really important. So, you know, that's why we need to focus on use cases and experiment and explore and collaborate like we've seen tonight and through this program to find new ways of applying blockchain, decentralization, including things like smart contracts, to add value to people and organizations around the world. With that said, without further ado, I'd like to announce the winner of the best use case of blockchain technology, and that goes to BuildSort. So BuildSort, some of the reasons why we felt that was the best use of blockchain technology. We feel like the smart contract technology that's integrated into your product will really reduce some of the operational inefficiencies, save businesses time and money, and get money to the people who need it the most. And we also like the idea of the decentralized storage of your metadata in the bill of materials from extraction from the drawing. So congratulations. Thank you very much.
All right. I guess my ending speech was... There we go. Thank you. So congratulations to the award winners and recipients, and congratulations to all 10 teams. Another round of applause for all 10 teams, please. Can you all stand up? All the startups in the Block Engine program. Can I just ask them to all come on stage just for a final thank you? Can all startups in the Block Engine please come up on stage? Let's all give them a round of applause as they come up. Thank you. We will have photos as I close this, but congratulations. We look forward to continuing the relationship with you through our alumni program. And we're excited to see and hear about your future successes and wish you the very best luck with all the future developments. So this brings our night here in Melbourne, in Metropolis, to a close. But as I said, we will continue this at the Cointree After Party, which is at the Blockchain Centre, which is at 85 City Road. So if you do get lost, make sure you cross the road of City Road and turn west. If you go under the bridge, you've gone too far. If you found IGA, you've gone too far. But 85 City Road. Thank you again for being here tonight and supporting the Block Engine program. We'll deliver another program later in the year. So if you are interested in being part of the program as a startup, as a mentor, educator, or sponsor, please come talk to us now after this, or please come talk to us at the Blockchain Centre. For now, I wish you all good night, and may the blockchains be with you. Good night.